It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 281 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens, ducks, and geese every day.
And we kiss them too, don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
We're just going with some delicious hazelnut this morning.
I was going to say strong. That's what coffee we're brewing today is strong.
It is strong. Yeah, it is. We need strong.
Now, if you're not drinking bright and early coffee, the hazelnut, you're missing out. This is a delicious blend. Where should everybody go to get it?
brightandearlycoffee.com.
And use our code CWTCL15 for 15% off of bagged coffee. If you need K-Cups, go over to Amazon. That's where they have them. And follow them on their social media. There's a cool chicken car over there. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious hazelnut coffee and chat?
I am, but first, a word from our sponsors.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today. Okay, so how are you doing?
A little tired. Pretty good, though. Welcoming spring.
Yeah, spring is here. Yay! Mid-April, where does the time go? Just trying to catch up on springtime stuff. I have some nesting box lids to replace this weekend. You know, winter is hard on everything, especially, you know, we have a mix of plastic and wooden coops. So the wooden coops, you have to come through, replace all the wood. And this winter was so hard on one of my older coops, it made the nest box lids warp. So going in and changing all those things, it's a must.
Yeah, we have a coop. It's actually our small coop that the Australorp roosters are in. And the roof of that is having some serious issues right now. And we need to repair that. And then one of my big Amish coops, just a piece of the trim came off the bottom of the door, which actually leaves an exposed spot where, you know, it's a weak spot for a predator. So we had to get that fixed. And the pop door is really chewed up at the bottom. So we've got to put another piece of trim over that. That's just the reality of wood. Lots of other little chores around the old farm, too.
I feel like those chores are easier to do in the spring because you're kind of like, it's cool, you're gearing up. It's nice to be outside after a horrible winter here on the East. Bad.
I mean, it was a very wet winter. We had snow on the ground for, almost 2 months. And yeah, the wood really takes its toll on the wood. And as I'm speaking right now, we just had a ton of rain. So I'm looking at gigantic puddles. I went out last night to close everyone up, like trying to get out there in between those big thunderstorms we had.
Me too.
And there was a gigantic pool in front of what we call the Jersey Giants coop, and 2 of the geese were swimming in it.
They were loving life. They were loving it.
They were having a good time. They didn't want to go in.
So yeah, we have to do that on our big run. We have to move our door up about, I'd say 6-7 inches.
This is the door to your run?
Yeah. We have to grade the ground under it so we stop getting that puddle because it's bad. I've already fallen into the run multiple times in the mud and muck, so it's not fun. Yeah. So yeah, springtime chores, that's where we are.
Yep. I'm well on the way with the Ruth Stout hay method for mulching in my garden. Apple trees are looking great this year.
Good. And on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcast and leave us a written review. It does amazing things for the growth of our show. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button. They count them. And would you ever want to miss any fun? No, never.
If you're looking for other ways to help support the podcast, you can tell a few chicken, duck, or goose loving friends about us. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all of our patrons. We love you. There are 2 more things you can do to help support this show. The first is buy our book. It is now available for pre-order.
Pre-order!
We like to say that this is the only chicken book that you'll ever need. Not entirely true, but it gets you pretty much everything you need to know. This is our master work. The other thing you can do to help support the show is visit our website and our show notes, pre-order our book, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay! You know what I love when it's 95 degrees outside?
Being inside.
Well, that too, but I really love cleaning my igloo chicken coop.
Yeah, it is so easy to clean. You don't have to break a sweat.
And you can use a water hose or pressure washer, so it doubles as a cool down. I also love those run covers.
Oh man, the shade is superb. I go into the run to cool off.
Yep, my flock's covered during the heat of the day, just chillin'.
Meanwhile, we're melting on the patio. Seriously, can we get in on this amazing coop design for ourselves?
They're out there living the dream.
So when it's pushing 100 degrees, the right setup matters.
That's why we choose an igloo.
Get your girls their own just in time for summer.
Search Omelette. That's OMLET.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. La la, it's spring and it's time. The flowers are budding and it's time for our breed spotlight. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a generic one.
Yeah. For everybody who knows us, know that we've recorded odd times of the day, and this one is early in the morning.
Oh, it's so early.
It's so early. So my singing brain isn't up yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to reboot my brain for the day.
Yeah, exactly. So this week's breed spotlight is
it's the Campine.
The Campine for sure.
This is a gorgeous little bird. The beautiful Campine is a small-bodied bird from Belgium. They were developed in the region of Campine, and they look almost identical to, but are smaller than the Brakel, which is another Belgian breed.
Right.
We talk about the Brakel way back in episode 49.
That seems like forever ago.
It does. And Fiona has a Brakel as well. So check out English Country Life's YouTube if you want to see a Brakel in action. Now, the Campine is currently listed as threatened on the Livestock Conservancy's poultry conservation list. They are great little chickens. They're gorgeous and they have a lot to offer. And just a note about pronunciation. In the Flemish, Belgian, these birds are pronounced Campine. In Dutch areas, Kempen is the pronunciation. And in America and some other areas, you often hear it Campine.
So there's a lot of ways to say it.
Well, we're using the Belgian Flemish pronunciation, which is Campine, just FYI.
Okay.
The Campine were developed in the La Campine region of Belgium several hundred years ago, primarily as egg layers. They were imported into the UK in 1885 and the US in 1893. They were admitted to the American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection in the Continental class in 1914. If I remember correctly, they were actually in an early Standard of Perfection and then dropped and then reintroduced in 1914 when they become a little more popular. The Standard of Perfection does note that at some point in time here in the US, the Campines were crossed with Brakels, probably to give them more hardiness. And this composite is our standard Campine, so they have Brakel back in their genetic lines. One of the reasons the Campine never really took off in the US is because they were viewed as fragile. I don't think they're fragile birds. I just think, like any other bird, you need the right conditions for them.
Right. I mean, it's like every other breed out there. It's geographically made for they're bred genetically for their area to survive where they are. So if you're moving them, you basically just have to have provisions in place to help them survive in a different area. I mean, it's simple as that.
This earlier cross with the Brakel is probably why the somewhat larger Brakel does not appear in the APA Standard of Perfection. The Livestock Conservancy also notes that Malines, now Malines are a big French breed.
They're huge.
The Malines were bred into the Campines at some point to try to create a larger bird.
They were like, you're tiny, so let's take a really big bird and see if we can do something here.
Yeah, that just seems crazy because Malines are huge. But anyway, these days, breeders who follow the standard of perfection for the Campine are usually aiming for the normal body size of the modern Campine. They're not trying to make them big anymore, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Poultry historian Lewis Wright was a big fan of the Campine, and he kept them himself. He had a theory about the Campine and the Hamburg and probably the Egyptian Fayumi, the Sicilian Buttercup, all of those birds, the death layer. He believes them to be descendants of a very old bird called the Turkish fowl. And I've looked into this a couple times because I do think there's a connection amongst all those birds.
Right.
And the Fayumi, of course, were the original breed from North Africa, Middle East. Are they the Turkish fowl, or was there something even older than them?
Well, one thing that kind of strikes me is all these birds tend to have those dark, piercing eyes that look through you. I mean, they do have very similar characteristics.
They do. Usually blue or green legs. There are a lot of similarities.
Yeah, so you can kind of see it. So let me go into, speaking of characteristics, let me go into what you're going to find when you find them. The roos are hen feathered. This is a breed that ladies will like because they're hen feathered. They all kind of look alike. You know, it's like crazy. So meaning they have the same markings as the hens, but they lack developed saddle and hackle feathers, and their sickle feathers are not supposed to be very long or very pointed. So they're really looking like those hens.
Yeah, they don't have the long flowing tail. Yeah.
No. Reminds me of Mark at our talk in Baser. He was fighting for those roos for sure.
Well,
Mark
they
Eggers.
generally are the prettier bird. They are. That's the way it goes.
So feathers on both sexes are dense and they're tight to the body. So they have that tight, they're not like
fluffy,
super fluffy at all. You know what I mean? So they're smaller with those tight feathers. And they also have the ability to create auto sex chicks and that's a good thing for people that can't have roosters. Breeding a silver Campine hen to a golden Campine roo gives distinctly colored male and female chicks.
They're sexually dimorphic, right?
That's what you have to do right there. If you don't do that, you're not going to get the auto-sexing.
Right.
Just know it. So Campines come in two colors, silver and gold, and they have those penciled feathers and look a lot like the Egyptian Fayumi and the gold and silver pencil Hamburgs, but their penciling is slightly different. They have a straight comb, and the hen's combs tend to flop over to one side, which is always so cute.
It's very cute.
I love it. But when they're not in lay, floppy combs, I have a lot of hens that have floppy combs. Mm-hmm. They hang in their eye, and that's one thing that kind of bothers me sometimes.
It's true.
But they also have white earlobes, those dark eyes I was talking about earlier, blue legs, and an upright tail. They all have that same look. It's crazy. The hens average about 4 pounds. Roos average about 6 pounds. And even though they're that little size, that Mediterranean kind of size, there is a bantam version, but it can be very hard to find.
Yeah, for sure.
So, drum roll, please. Egg laying ability. Let's go into this. Hens are very good layers of large white eggs. They may be little, but they lay a big egg. As many as 200 per year. This breed was selected to be layers, and guess what? Very rarely go broody. So if you don't want to deal with the broody, they're one of your kind to bring in, and they're in the threatened. So let's help this chicken out. They're in the threatened category. So let's help them out. Everybody get some.
Absolutely. Campines are active little birds. They love to dig and forage. Some people call them flighty, but we know that is a survival instinct. Campines are also curious and inquisitive by nature. They are quite friendly and they like to hang out with you, but just like some of the other breeds, they don't necessarily want to be picked up and cuddled. They just want to be with you. They want to hang out. They want to talk to you, but like, don't pick me up. No touchy.
Now, their beauty makes them excellent show chickens. They're going to look right through you like, oh, I should be a showgirl. That's for sure. I don't know. Can we get in trouble for saying the life of a showgirl chicken?
No, we can't. It's our
Apparently,
show.
Taylor Swift is getting sued for using that by a showgirl in Vegas.
Interesting.
In pop culture news, let's move on.
Yeah.
So managed correctly, there also be great garden helpers. Why we say managed correctly? Because if not, you will have no garden. They will help you tear out your garden.
Cover anything and listen to the rest of this episode because Lisa Steele has some great ideas for this. But cover anything you don't want torn up. Let them into your beds to turn over the soil before you start growing in there.
Now, they're not super cold hardy. Shocker, right? Because they're little. They're not big and fluffies. They prefer warmer weather. So this is not to say if you're in a colder environment that you can't have them. This is to say you need to make those good provisions. A good chicken for southern climates, though, you won't have to have as many provisions, but no matter where you are, you can get them. Now, if you're in the northern part and you have them, you're going to need a panel heater. If it dips below 20 degrees, you want to protect them because, they have those combs, wattles.
These little birds are miserable. These little birds are miserable in the severe cold. It's not fun for them.
They're like me. I'm like, I am miserable in severe cold.
And wind. Yeah, they hate the wind too. Shelter during the wind.
Yeah, you don't want them to get frostbite. That's for
They're
sure.
small body chickens. And I'm going back to my Fayumis because they're so similar. But the small body chickens really feel the cold and the bitter wind in winter. Like we're old ladies and we do too. But just make sure they've got coop access and a heater to get warmed up by if they get super duper cold. They're generally happy little birds in warmer climates and, during the summer.
I mean, it's with they kind of remind me of Mediterraneans. You're going to treat them the same way you treat a Mediterranean. But if you're in a cold environment and you want them, you just have to make those provisions. Now, and last night when those storms rolled in, I couldn't walk on my right knee. I'm the same way.
Oh, man. I'm so tired of cold. No, I thought this was interesting because they're an active little bird, but I don't think they're quite as wild as a Fayumi. They're probably more like the Sicilian buttercup where they like to be around people. Because the Livestock Conservancy notes that Campines are a good breed for beginners.
Okay.
So
make sure you have that aviary style run so that they have lots of room to go.
Yeah,
around.
they're very light bodied. I would assume that they can fly if they really want to.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So here's the $1 million question. Where can everybody get this little mighty bird?
Murray McMurray Hatchery has a gorgeous line of golden Campines. I mean, they're absolutely beautiful. There's also a Campine Breeders and Exhibitors group on Facebook if you want to get involved in showing. And if you're looking for local, you can check the Livestock Conservancy's breeder directory for people who breed the Campine near you.
So get yourself a Campine. Let's get them off the threatened list. And if you have them, send us pictures. We want to see them.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera.us.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today.
Eaton Pet and Pasture is a farmer-owned company based in upstate New York that creates USA-made sustainable products for backyard chicken keepers. From low-dust hemp bedding and comfy aspen nesting pads to nutritious treats and odor-eliminating products, everything is designed to keep your coop clean, healthy, and smelling egg-tastic.
All their products are made right here in the USA with ingredients that are safe for your flock and the planet. So whether you're doing a deep clean or just a quick refresh, Eaton makes it simple to care for your coop the natural way.
They're your one-stop shop for coop freshness and flock happiness, made easy.
Visit EatonPetAndPasture.com to explore the full line of flock favorites and use the code COFFEE at checkout for a first-time purchase discount. Now, are we ready to move on to main topic? Yeah.
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 Okay, this week's guest is one of our favorite chicken ladies. We've got Lisa Steele with us. If somehow you don't know Lisa, she is the original chicken blogger. She's been blogging about chickens for 17 years. She has published 7 books on chickens and chicken care and duck. She has 1 published cookbook with 1 coming out. May 5th is a street date for that one, and we will have a link in the show notes. Lisa, welcome back to the show.
Oh, and she's working on another one.
Yes.
Beyond that. Okay, Lisa, so welcome back to the table. We just want to catch up with you. How are things going? We both received a copy of the beautiful book, your 10th anniversary of gardening with chickens. We bought the first one. We have this one. Beautiful. How are things going with you?
Good. Busy, but really good.
How's your flock doing? What's new with your flock?
Oh, I mean, it was winter in Maine, so,
Did you guys have a worse winter than usual?
No, I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe we didn't get as much snow, but then when we got it, it was a lot. It was really cold though. So we got nice, dry, fluffy snow, which we like. We don't like the wet stuff.
Oh, that's what we always have in Maryland. It's the pits.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that if it's winter and you have to bake every day, that makes for a better environment for baking. So that would be good
True.
at least, so you're cozied up in the house, except for doing all the chores outside, of course, and then baking when it's cooler outside. That's what I would have to do it. Because if it were summer, I'd be like, I can't bake. I can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I did spend my winter baking, and we have a wood stove. So that's perfect for like proofing dough for like my yeasted breads and stuff. So yeah, I can't complain. Definitely can't complain, but it's been busy. I mean, writing a book and then writing 2 books. I mean, I've written almost a book a year, I guess, for the last, however many, almost 10 years. But this is my first time writing 2 books in a year. So it's, it's one of those, you kind of bite off more than you can chew and say, well, maybe that wasn't such a great idea. But so far it's all going okay. So
Good. That is a lot though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what inspired you to do this 10th anniversary edition of Gardening with Chickens? The book itself is absolutely beautiful visually. You've got a lot of up-to-date, really great information in there. How did it all come about?
Yeah. So it was coming up on the 10th anniversary, which I wasn't really aware of. I was just kind of plowing forward, doing my thing. And I was notified by the publisher that the book was going out of print, which, I mean, in the book world, 10 years is a long run for a book, especially with all the books that come out now, and there's only so much shelf space and whatever. But it was my first book that was going to be going out of print. And I was really taken aback, and I was really sad and, just surprised and all the things. And I was especially surprised because the original book was like my second best-selling book after my first book, and every spring it seemed like people wanted chicks and they wanted to garden. And so it got on a couple best-selling garden book lists, and, it got more notice and sales went up every spring. So I was shocked. So then after I, got over that, I kind of got mad, and I was like, well, this is not right. But the rights reverted back to me since, the book went out of print. So I now owned the rights. But what I didn't own was the illustrations, and I did not own the photography. So at first I said, well, maybe I'll just find a publisher to reprint the book, and we'll take new photos, whatever. So I met with the Homestead Living team. Amazing. They have a great homesteading audience, and they were interested in publishing the book, which I thought was a really, really good fit. So I said, okay, well, I, have the manuscript, and here you go. And I thought about it, and I said, you know what? If I'm going to do it, let's do it right. So I went back through, and we just ripped the book apart. I was like, this is 10 years later. I know so much more. I've now been gardening in a cold climate. I just have a decade more of experience. Yeah. So we basically started from scratch, and it's a different book. I mean, you have both books, and I think you're the first people I've talked to who actually do have both.
Okay.
I feel if somebody picked up this book and bought it, if they had read the original book, I don't even know they would recognize it as the same book. Like if it had a different title.
It's quite different inside. It really is.
I agree. It is very different from the first, but I like the first. And I mean, it was before the podcast. We started the podcast and the first was out. And I think we both bought it, and I enjoyed the first one. I thought it was good. So yeah. And the second one, like you said, it's just in 10 years, you learn a lot more.
I think one of the things, if I were say writing a review of your book, I would say that one of the things I really like is the way you organize the information differently. And I think it's easier to find. Like I think the way you rewrote it, it's more intuitive and it flows better in a natural order for gardening. That's what I'm trying to say. I
Okay.
really, really like the second edition of this.
Okay. I appreciate that. And I do too. But again, that was my third book. This is now my seventh or whatever,
Right.
eighth, ninth, 10th, whatever it is. And if I didn't learn something in 10 years, then that's really bad, So as far as the information and the writing style, and the flow, I mean, I'm thrilled with it. I don't think we got rid of anything that needed to, I mean, it is a completely different book. Like I said, I'm so glad that I didn't just reprint it and put new photos. We got rid of some things that I don't think anybody's going to miss. We didn't have the illustrations. I don't know if you remember, but in the first book, there were and they were beautiful of gardens, like if you wanted orange egg yolks or healthy chicks or whatever. It was good information, but I also think that information is still in here, but just not like with the big illustration. So I don't think we got rid of we did get rid of the duck information.
Yeah.
Which I was sad about, but in reality, most of this information applies to ducks as well.
Yes.
So it didn't need to be separated out. And then we added some information on predators, which I thought was really important because that's, you can't just tell people, fence in your garden and just let your chickens run free. You have to talk about there's dangers in the yard, and not just predators, but like plants, poisonous plants or, pesticides or metals or whatever, So we did add that. And then we added a little bit on chicken health. I mean, it's not a chicken health book, but just some cautions, about like avian flu or things that they might encounter from being out in the garden or in your yard or whatever.
You also did a really nice write-up as you go through the garden plants on the health benefits of them. And I think that 10 years ago, we didn't know all of this stuff. This is
that's true too. Yeah, that's very true too.
I think after reading the first book, I did email you as a question about citrus bombs versus lemon bombs versus this and that. It's like you learn as you go. This is what we say is so important with chickens is experience with chickens means so much. So what you gather in 10 years is immense with everyday living with them and learning.
Right.
I mean, you added it in and it's so essential. Experience and doing it a long time does make a difference.
And doing it in a different planning zone. I went from 8 whatever to 5B. So now I had to relearn everything I knew about gardening basically. And I feel like I could give advice sidetracked. It always makes me laugh when I see someone who lives in Southern California or Alabama writing all this information on their blog about raising chickens in the cold weather or cold climates or whatever.
We talk about the same thing. We talk about it all the time.
And I mean, I did a little of that. And to be fair, I lived in Virginia and it did snow there and it did get cold, but I didn't, have extreme cold experience, but I had some. But after moving to Maine, I feel a lot more confident talking about raising chickens in a cold climate because I actually live here, and then we lived I think we had chickens for 7 years before we moved. So, 7 years in a hot, humid climate and another now 10 in Maine. So I have both. And I think that's really valuable, not only for people in one or the other, but a lot of people do move around. I get email from people all the time, as I'm sure you do, we're moving to Wisconsin from wherever, what should I worry about or plan? Or, people are mobile these days. They don't just stay in one place. So
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
The book also has lots of really nice projects in it, things you can build to help you with your gardening. What is your favorite one of those projects that you would recommend to a beginner who's just getting into gardening with their flock?
Absolutely. The tomato cages, those round tomato cages with the stakes in them, flip it upside down, wrap chicken wire around it, and then plop it over whatever plants you don't want your chickens to destroy because they will destroy everything.
It's quick and easy garden cloche.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Homemade. I mean, they do sell them commercially. I do have some, but I mean, if you've looked at our yard right now, because it's really important in the spring when stuff first starts coming up, they're all over the yard. And then you can use those tent, metal stake things, to stake them in so they don't blow away or they don't push them over. But I'd say that super easy, super inexpensive. If you don't have tomato cages, you can even just make a roll, a tube out of the chicken wire, and then stake that down. I mean, you don't have to be spending a lot of money to protect things.
Absolutely. And I was just going to say that goes for ducks and geese too. My geese have very efficiently nipped all the buds off the bottom layer of my espalier apple trees. So I had to cover them all with wire.
Yep.
So going back to
they will do that.
So going back to climate and climate changes and different things, are there any things that you can grow in the hot climates, not the cold, or is it all about the timing of when you can do it? So is there something that you could really grow well in the warm climate and not in Maine,
Surprisingly, not really. And it is all about the timing. When I lived on Long Island, we would plant on Mother's Day. Long Island, we would plant like Mother's Day. That was kind of like our guideline, right? So then in Virginia, if you don't have your stuff planted by like February, it's all going to be burnt by June. So I had to and I always would miss it and feel like it's too early to start planting. Well, up here in Maine, Memorial Day is kind of like our day where you're not going to get frost or snow after Memorial Day. So it is all about the timing. I have grown watermelon here. I've grown sweet potato, and then like corn and whatever. I feel like you can grow almost anything anywhere. You just got to be aware of your frost-free days and pick varieties that are, like the short season varieties or whatever, or get a greenhouse or start things inside. So I think if you put your mind to it, you can grow almost anything. And same with in Virginia, over the winter, I could plant like all the cold crops, like broccoli and Brussels sprouts and kale and Swiss chard and all that kind of stuff that really doesn't like the heat,
It's all about the timing, and angles,
Yes.
That's all it's all about. So do you have any new additions to your flock this year, or are you kind of just not adding?
I have 7 quail eggs in an incubator right now.
Wow.
Do tell.
Technically they're not mine. A friend and I had been talking about it, and we ended up hooking up with this quail farm who sent us the eggs and also a mated pair. So my friend has the mated pair. Her husband built this beautiful hutch for them. And we're going to dive into quail and see how that goes. As I get older and also traveling more, I feel like it'll just be easier for my husband to have smaller animals. And I've always been fascinated by quail, and I love the quail eggs. I mean, I'm having a blast because she also sent us some, to eat. And I've I've soft boiled them. I've fried them. I haven't tried poaching them yet. But they're just so fun, and they're great to just put on top of something like a ramen bowl or hash or whatever. So quail are kind of like my new thing.
They are jumping in popularity massively. Everyone we talk to across the board is talking about getting them. My only fear is their lifespan is so short that I get so deeply attached that I'm going to be so sad when something happens. But we were on a Patreon meeting. Remember, Holly Ann? And we looked up the longest living one. Do you remember? It was 8 years.
It was long. I mean, the longest living one, she lived a chicken length of time.
I thought it was 8 years or something, but that was on the Guinness. I don't know. That was the record for
I can check while you guys chat. I will check.
So my friends actually are raising them for meat as well. They're going to raise them for meat and eggs. And his mother-in-law is going to do the processing. She grew up on a chicken farm, so she volunteered. She's like, I'll process them. So I was like, well, if they only live a year or two, why can't we just let them die and then eat them? Can't they just die of old age and we eat them?
Yeah.
So I don't know. But then I was reading, and I feel like the lifespans were out in the wild, because then I read something and it said in captivity, this one breed I was looking at lives for 6 or 7 years. So I was thinking, was everything I was reading just based on their lifespan out in the wild, which would make sense because most animals, it's only a year or two. Yeah.
Right.
First of all, that's possible because you know how it goes with any breed that people are talking about. They grab the information online and then 100 people repeat it.
And then AI amplifies it, and it's the Bible. But I mean, I do wonder, because the quails, they hatch in 18 days. They start laying at 5 or 6 weeks old. I mean, their lifespan is greatly accelerated.
They're the butterfly of the poultry world.
Or the hamster. Yeah.
Yeah, or a hamster. Everything's sped up. And I'm wondering if they're so tiny that their hearts beat so hard that that's kind of what happens. They just weaken and that's it. But yeah, I mean, it is the go-to right now. They're adorable. I always talk about with the breed that has the little...
the little question mark on top of their head.
Yeah, I love them. They're so cute.
Yeah.
But,
And I think they're good for people. I mean, we try to free range as much as we can, but we've been here long enough now that the predators know where we are. So I'm going to have to like curtail the free ranging greatly. And quail can't because they fly. So you can't let them out. So then I feel like, well, I wouldn't feel bad about not letting them free range because you can't let them free range, you know? So I feel like at this point they will fit better. You know, our geese free range, but whatever, they're, you know, bigger. So I don't have to worry about,
how are
you know,
those
owls
geese
and hawks
doing?
and stuff. They're doing so good.
That's good.
They're doing good. I expanded. They have a fenced in. Well, they have a house and a pen, right? And they get locked in at night. But then they have like a fence around the pen, so I can keep them corralled so they don't get in our garden and down the driveway. And I just expanded that so they can go around the back and watch the chickens because they love to sit and just watch the chickens and ducks.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very happy now that the snow is gone and they can sit and watch the chickens and ducks, whatever.
So after a quick bit of research, what I have found is most sources say that quail, including cotornix, generally live for 2 to 5 years in captivity. But new information is coming in that has quail living 5 to 6 years, and the oldest quail on record have lived from 10 to 14 years.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So like a chicken.
Yeah.
And I mean, even in captivity, you know, like I would say when someone asks me like, how long do chickens live? I would say realistically, the average backyard chicken probably only lives for like 3 or 4 years. Like if you take averages, because so many people, they don't take precautions. They don't know what they're doing. They, you know, whatever. So my chickens live to be 11 or 12 years old, but then you've got so many that, you know, were killed within the first month because they used chicken wire or whatever, you know. So even in the captivity, I kind of feel like, and maybe because I'm just like a type A overachiever, I feel like my quail would live longer.
I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation, really. If you're going to be
not
real.
surprised. How come I'm not surprised to hear Lisa say that? She's like, my quail will live to be 25.
Right.
I'm gonna slash that record of the longest quail, and I'm gonna take it. Like, I would expect nothing less from Lisa. Lisa's just like, my quail, they're going to be 105, man.
Well, my friend, actually, my quail friend, they have chickens too. And when they got him, her husband was like, you know, something, or one of them died and she was like 5. And her husband's like, well, that's kind of like how old chickens live to be. And my friend's like, not Lisa's.
I mean, you know, things happen, but well cared for chickens, you can, you know, and I know there's genetics and there's blah, blah, blah. But anyway, cared for chickens, you can usually bank on living.
Yeah, well cared for from a good quality, you know, hatchery or breeder that, you know, good genes and all that. Yeah, agreed.
So let's talk a little bit about gardening. And generally,
we went way off the rails there.
Yeah, but that was good stuff. I mean, and like we always say, whenever the topic of quails come up, if you have a homeowners association that won't allow chickens, a lot of times you can keep quail.
Yes.
They're not written in. They're usually not written in.
Right. And no one can hear them. I mean, they don't make very much noise at all.
Holly, this is where we should alert everybody that we do have an episode on quail.
We do.
With Zach.
The quail guy.
The quail guy.
Where we go over just
really?
like yeah. He did a talk at Murray McMurray Fest when we were there speaking a few years back. And it's basic information. Like he just went through the whole basics of brooding, that sort of thing.
That's good. Yeah. I'll have to listen to that one.
So you need to listen to Zach the quail guy because that's what he does.
Once your babies are brooding, we want to talk to you again, to get the real deal, you know, what it really looks like. So we're happy to talk quail anytime.
Okay. All right, good.
So gardening, I mean, I know there are some garden plants that have some poisonous bits to them, but most of what we commonly grow in the garden is completely edible for us and our poultry. So if you had to pick 1 or 2 plants that are really good for beginners that want to share with their birds, what would you recommend?
I mean, I would say like any of like the lettuces or spinach or something like that. Radishes are really easy. Yeah, those just kind of grow on their own. Like some of the others, like the cucumbers or the tomatoes, like they have to be staked, or like tomatoes, you're supposed to like pluck off those little suckers or whatever they're called. But yeah, I feel like the leafy greens just kind of grow on their own.
I feel like most of the plants that are bad for chickens are usually of the shade varieties. The ones that do well in the shade are the ones that somehow...
Oh, interesting.
Every time I look them up, because my one back garden's all shade, and everything I look up it's poisonous to chickens. You know, it's like
Interesting.
So I feel like there's something about those plants that they just can't have. But yeah, you definitely want to share with the chickens and you want to help them garden. What are some of the great things that you can let everybody know that chickens can help you and how they can help you in the garden?
Yeah. So basically, like you said, it's all about the timing. So like before you plant, let the chickens into your garden plot. They will kind of do like a light till of the soil, scratching through it. They will also eat like weed seeds and bugs that overwintered. So they're really great at like prepping the soil. They'll also, they're pooping as they're walking. So there's a little bit of fertilizer in there. So they're really great at like spring soil prep. And then once you plant, you obviously need to keep them out, fence them out, whatever. But then after you're done, well, they're in season. Like if you get like a bug eaten cucumber or, you're thinning your seeds or whatever, give them all that stuff, whatever. And then after you harvest everything, you can let them back in the fall. And again, they will eat any of the bugs that have decided to overwinter. They're going to, turn the stalks and the leaves and everything that you've left into the soil. So they're really great at that. And honestly, you will notice fewer bugs in your garden if you do that, because if you stop that life cycle of the bugs that were going to hibernate over the winter and then be there, right? When spring comes, the chickens will take care of that for you.
Yeah.
It's really helpful.
Are your chickens good at eating slugs or do you use your ducks for that?
The ducks. Yeah. The chickens won't touch a slug.
That's what I found the same thing, but my ducks just vacuum them.
Yeah, my chickens look at a slug like the same way we do, like, oh no. But I feel like in my back gardens around my chicken runs where I have my big citrus bomb and everything, a lot less beetle invasions because they are eating those grubs before they grow up to be beetles. Yeah. So they can really help with that. And right about now, I'm letting everybody out to kick around to try to get them up before they grow up to be big old beetles out there eating all the leaves.
Yeah, no, that's true. We have hardly any mosquitoes either. I mean, we live basically in the woods. And I think that the ducks, because they go through all the puddles and standing water and stuff, I think the bugs eat the mosquito larvae. So we just don't have a mosquito problem, which is kind of neat.
4 of my ducks are runners, and they are just my garden champions. They are amazing. Also, everywhere I've read that runners aren't really good layers, and granted, they're only a year old, but I get an egg a day for like 5 or 6 days at a stretch. I mean, they're just amazing layers.
I think ducks in general, my ducks are older now, but most of them, but they have always outlaid the chickens. They're not as finicky. Like, I feel like, and this, a lot of people have said this, I feel like I don't get as many eggs like on a rainy day or a cloudy day. Obviously I don't in the winter, but the ducks don't seem as affected by the lack of daylight or, whether it's raining or whatever. They're just great layers.
They are not affected by much, are they? They're pretty fantastic. They do have that habit of burying eggs, but that's a whole other story.
I do agree. When it's cloudy, I don't get nearly as many eggs. Even though it would be sunny like a few days beforehand. If it's a cloudy day, they're like, day off. Here we go.
Exactly.
They're like, okay, it's sun's not out. I won't do it. They're kind of
chickens are so finicky. They just, something is always wrong in the chicken world. I've really given up on trying to keep them happy. I just...
They're drama queens.
I can't do it. Yeah.
We love them like crazy, but they're drama queens for sure.
In the time that we have left, it's just a few minutes. My last question to you is, what have you done for fun during all of this? What fun things have you done or planned in the future to do and have a little fun?
I've done nothing. I've just baked. I just baked all winter. No, I am looking forward to, for my first cookbook, I used to do a lot of travel for my chicken books. Like I worked with Tractor Supply and Blue Seal and I did like feed store tours. And then, COVID came. So for my first cookbook, I did nothing. But for this second cookbook, they're planning like a book tour for me. So I'm really excited about that to, go some different places. And, because book tours always include like dinners at great restaurants and exploring cities I haven't been to and, meeting people and whatever. So yeah, I'm excited. I mean, all I do is work, but like I love it. So I don't feel like, it's work. It's
Let us
so
know.
Cliche, but it's true.
Let us know if you come to Maryland.
I know. So they analyzed my social media and they're trying to figure out where I over-index to figure out what would make sense, to send me to go. So I should know soon because, it'll be out in like a month. I'm not doing any travel for this book specifically. It's been more, like podcasts and things like that.
Well, It's been great chatting with you this last half an hour. Always. And we always say, let's get together. Maybe this time the book tour will bring you to Maryland. And if it does, please email us and let us know.
I will.
We'll come out and see you. But it's been so nice catching up, and say until the next time, because we know you're coming back to talk quick.
Yes. I want the jacket. I want the Saturday Night Live post jacket that they passed out. I want the Coffee with the Chicken Ladies.
It would be a denim jacket for us. That's for sure.
I'll take it.
With like ducks and chickens appliqued all over it.
Excellent.
Okay, we'll talk to you later, Lisa.
All right. It was fun, guys. Bye.
Bye. We just want to thank Lisa one more time for a really fun chat. Check out her new book. Read her blog if you haven't read it before, and make sure you're following her.
You never know where these conversations are going to take us, and this was another one. Great. Just loved it.
Yeah. If your flock could talk, they would thank you for shopping at Eaton Pet and Pasture, your one-stop shop for coop freshness and flock happiness made easy.
From their all-natural USA-made favorites like hemp bedding, roost refresh, and nesting pads to convenient product bundles that make chicken care simple, Eaton has everything you need to keep your coop clean, cozy, and odor-free.
Check them out at EatonPetAndPasture.com and use code COFFEE at checkout for a first-time purchase discount.
Okay, so are we ready to move on to
Cracking the eggs.
cracking those eggs? Now, today we're doing a lemon blackberry tart because, again, we're doing brunch. So we want something that we're adding a sweet recipe to our brunch table.
Yeah, we've done a lot of savories lately, so lemon blackberry tart is really the perfect warm weather dessert. This tart uses our whole egg lemon curd recipe. We developed that recipe very early on in the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that recipe.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to waste any egg parts.
Right.
But you will want to make and chill the crust and curd ahead of time, so you're serving it cold.
So let's go through the ingredients first. For the whole egg lemon curd, we're going to need a half a cup of fresh lemon juice. Squeeze it fresh, but the curd is still surprisingly good with bottled juice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Use what you have.
if you don't have the fresh lemon, it's okay. Don't fret it. Don't worry. Half a cup of sugar, 3 large fresh chicken or duck eggs or 1 goose egg, 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter or dairy-free butter cut into chunks. Now let's go through the crust, what you're going to need. And you know what? It may sound complicated, these recipes, but they're really simple.
No, the steps go quickly.
Yeah. So for the crust, we're going to need 1.5 sticks of butter or dairy-free butter at room temperature, a half a cup of granulated sugar, 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour or gluten-free 1-to-1 flour, a pinch of salt, and 2 cups or more of fresh blackberries.
You're going to start off by making your tart crust. You're going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees and spray or grease the bottom and sides of a 9-inch spring-form tart pan. In a medium bowl, combine the butter and sugar and cream together until fluffy. Stir in the flour and gently mix until it's blended into the butter mixture. You're going to empty that mixing bowl of tart crust into your tart pan, and you're going to gently press the crust in place across the bottom and up the sides. Take your time doing this and try to keep the crust as even as possible. 2 things here. The first is a pat in the pan crust is just easy. And the second is that it makes a gluten-free crust even easier because rolling out gluten-free is not fun.
No, not at all.
You're going to place a piece of buttered or greased parchment or foil, buttered side down, into the tart and fill it with rice beans or pie weights. You're going to bake that crust for 15 minutes. Remove it from the oven, take the weights out, prick it all over with a fork, bake it for about 10 minutes more or until it's starting to turn golden brown, and then set it aside to cool. It's not going back into the oven, so you need to bake the crust completely before you put the curd in.
Yeah, I always love pulling out my pie weights because I'm like, how many times can I use these?
Right.
I think I spent $10 on them.
You only use them a couple times a year. It's fun.
I'm like, yeah, I can pull these things out. They're cool. Yeah, get those pie weights. You'll use them.
I've got a set that my sister gave me, I think for my birthday one year from Williams-Sonoma. I've got vintage Williams-Sonoma pie weights.
Nice.
Now, you're going to make 1 recipe of our whole egg lemon curd. I did not go through the instructions for this. If you want to listen to it, we talk you through this in episode 22, but you're not separating eggs and yolks, so it is actually pretty easy.
Yep.
Once that curd is cooked, you're going to pour the finished curd into the tart shell that you just baked. Allow it to set and cool, and then refrigerate it until you're ready to assemble and serve. To assemble the tart, remove your tart from the refrigerator and place the blackberries on their stem end, gently pressing into the lemon curd. So they're kind of sticking up like a little pine cone.
Oh, yeah.
Start in the middle of the tart and work outwards, essentially covering the tart with the berries. If you want to gild the lily, you can sift some powdered sugar over top if desired. And that's it. Serve and enjoy this delicious spring dessert.
We are so about simple but looks great to bring somewhere.
Great.
This is a great brunch or on your brunch table or a host gift to take and put on their brunch table. And it looks like you slaved over it forever, but it's really, really easy. We're all about easy and convenience with these recipes because who has time for it? No one does. Really. Seriously.
Well, unless you're writing a cookbook.
Exactly. Try it. You might like it. Let us know what you think. We want to see pictures of your recipes. Do it. Try it. Okay. So let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week's retail therapy is a seed spotlight, and we are doing carrots because it's the time of the year. Of course it is.
It is that time of the year. Now, carrots are easy to grow and they're very nutritious, and all parts of the plant are edible for both humans and poultry. I double and triple checked this. Yes, they are.
This is one of those things, though, before we move on, not meaning to cut you off, but if you're going to give carrots, leave them whole, please. Please leave them whole for your chickens.
Either leave them whole or cut them into tiny pieces. There's no in between.
The tiniest pieces you can because they're very hard, and these are one of those things.
If you just throw out whole carrots,
they'll get to them. They'll do it.
They will eat all parts of them, and they'll take small bites with their beak, and that stops choking. So yeah,
exactly.
Whole absolutely is best.
Yeah.
Carrots were first selected and grown as a crop in Central Asia and the Persian Empire several thousand years ago, and then they moved westward through Eastern Europe. The earliest carrots are believed to have been cultivated for their leaves and seeds. Scientists have discovered carrot seeds in Switzerland and Germany that date back as far as 2000 BC. I thought that was really cool.
I would have thought even more.
I mean, it's possible. That's just what they found, right?
I mean, I feel like it's a staple in life from the beginning of time.
Well, okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. So wild carrots, which is what these people were dealing with, 5,000 years ago, wild carrots generally had small, bitter roots that over time, people growing them selected and bred for size and sweetness.
Right.
These early carrots came in three main colors, purple, white, and orange, though red and yellow carrots could also be found. Now, the reason grocery stores are filled with just orange carrots, legends say that Dutch farmers began heavily cultivating orange carrots in the 1600s, maybe in tribute to William of Orange.
Maybe.
Causing them to become the gold standard for carrot production.
But I feel like the carrot basket is somewhat like the egg rainbow basket now. Everyone wants different color carrots, including myself. Yep. And I'm drawn to the purple because of the color, but also because they do have more antioxidants in them.
They do.
And they have more vitamins. Let's not forget that the color sometimes reflects what they have in them. So
absolutely.
Carrots are extremely nutritious for humans and their flock. So I am a carrot eater from way back. I could take down a whole bag of carrots.
Carrots are delicious. Absolutely delicious.
They're so good. They're low in calories, but high in fiber, which makes them awesome. They also contain high levels of beta carotene. Your mom ever tell you eat more carrots to see better? That is why. One of the reasons.
Yeah, carrots are very good for eye health.
Or I had an uncle once who ate too many carrots and he always looked orange because you're going to take...
I think that's not uncommon. So I've seen that in babies, like if they're fed lots of carrots and sweet potatoes,
yeah,
beta carotene kind of infiltrates their system.
So if you give your chickens these carrots, it's going to make their egg yolks look a little bit more orange color, which right now is all the rage. People want these dark orange color yolks anyway. So the beta carotene is both an antioxidant and helping to ward off cancer, disease, and it's a precursor to vitamin A. Both humans and chickens convert beta carotene to vitamin A in their body. Fun fact there. There you go. I mean, you need these vitamins, so eat your carrots. Both humans and chickens convert beta carotene to the vitamin A in their body. It not only supports immune function, but also helps fuel growth. And like I was saying, those healthy eyes, if your mother ever told you eat more carrots if you want to see better, that's why. The beta carotene that is not used immediately is stored in the body and in chickens. Okay. This is transferred into their egg yolks and passed on to us. So eat more eggs to see better also if you're feeding your chickens carrots.
I mean, like chickens do pass that on through their eggs. And there are some other vitamins, actually a lot of other vitamins and nutrients in carrots that I didn't go into. But suffice to say, they're just superfoods.
I mean, they're kind of known to have a little bit more sugar, but the fiber blocks out the sugar anyway,
it's not
basically.
The kind of sugar. I mean, it's not refined sugar. It's not the kind of sugar that's a big problem. I mean, your entire diet should not be carrots, but you can have a far worse diet than just carrots, really, when you get right into it.
If you're a bunny, it is.
No, grass too.
Joking.
Now, growing carrots can be easy, but a lot of your success depends on your soil. Carrots like loose soil.
They might like Harford County soil, then.
Maybe. So like heavy loamy soil, you can add sand to it to keep it looser. But if you have clay soil like me, it is much harder to get a decent crop. So if you're working with clay or rocks or whatever, you can either grow your carrots in raised beds or you can grow varieties of carrots that can cope with clay. Now, I experimented with carrots right in the clay soil, and I will tell you that the little round Parisian carrots and the short wide Oxheart carrots are two really good examples of cultivars that did grow in less than ideal soil conditions.
I mean, this might be a root that you put in a raised bed and put the kind of soil they need in, and they'll grow just fine in there.
Right. But
giving
like
them the right environment.
If you do the little Parisian carrots or the Oxheart, they cope with the clay really well because they don't get very long.
They also may get eaten by the bunnies that come and the squirrels.
I still got a good harvest though, didn't I? The bunnies loved them. And then when I moved my carrots to the raised beds, they had these abundant tops that hung over and the geese would come and eat the tops off because they were hanging over the raised bed.
I can never get mad at the animals. Like, I get mad at them for 1 second. Like, oh, and then I'm like, they're hungry, man.
Exactly.
Like, this is a restaurant. Like, hey, you're like, okay, you ate my carrots, but that's what you eat. So you're good.
It's fine.
So, depending on your climate and your growing zone, you can sometimes sow the carrots every few weeks for a continual harvest until the frost. So once you get them and you plant them, they're going to be giving you good carrots. Mm-hmm. Throughout the whole spring and summer season. And then by the end, you're going to be saying, what's up, Doc? What's up, Doc? You're going to be eating a lot of carrots.
Yes.
There are a ton of cultivars to choose from, including early varieties that are ready to harvest in as little as 60 days. Give yourself 2 months. Those heirloom carrots come in all the colors, like we were saying earlier, though orange is still the most common color. Cultivars include, let's go through them, Atlas, Cosmic Purple, Paris Market, Scarlet Nantes, Danvers, Kyoto Red, and Tender Sweet. Baker Creek Rare Seeds carries a nice selection of carrot seeds in different colors. You can also get heirloom varieties from Thresh Seed Company, True Leaf Market, Seed Savers Exchange, and the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers. So go get your seeds.
It's fun to look at these seed catalogs, like online or, the paper catalog, because they've got the purple, the red, the yellow carrots. It's really neat.
Yeah. And like I said, get yourself a rainbow basket of carrots because you'll get even more vitamins that you need. And
absolutely.
Your chickens will too. Your chickens will love them. Okay. So shall we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are spotlighting one of our super duper favorites, and that is the beautiful cream crusted leg bar.
Yay!
Main topic, lots of questions lately. So we're going to be talking about what you need to know about mailing baby poultry or getting baby poultry through the mail.
Chick shipments.
Yes. Cracking the eggs. We're doing egg yolk cookies. These are ridiculously delicious.
And will look super good on a brunch table.
And retail therapy is vintage poultry napkin rings.
Because you want your table to look the best, don't you?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay, so what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens, ducks, and geese.
And kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. Thanks for listening.